It's been about a month since I released Scrongly to the public, and a lot has changed since then, so I thought I'd make a new little video log here, just show off all the changes I've made, and yeah. So first thing is there's sound and music now. Pretty much everything you do in the game has a sound associated with it, and there's different music for the menu and in the game. The biggest change that I just released yesterday is a new variance mode. So if you go to the daily game, not only does it pick a random deck for you, but it picks a random variant. Variants are pretty much what they sound like. They're just unusual ways to play the game. They change things up. The particular one that it chose for us this day is that all cards are destroyed, but it gives you some economy options to get more cards and extra starting chips. It's one of the tougher ones, I think, but it's an interesting way to play the game. And if you click down here, you can save it as a variant. And when you go into the play screen, if you click variant mode, you can load it here and play it here as well. But not only that, you can create your own variants by changing a large number of special options. You can charge which baubles you start with and which ones are available for purchase in the shop. You can change what the starting deck looks like, and give it random cards and random non-standard cards. You can also adjust how the antes ramp. This is the default level of difficulty. It goes all the way up to difficulty 6, or you can just turn on custom and put in whatever you want yourself. And it'll always generate a dynamic explainer here of what the changes are. So we'll turn variant mode off because I want to just go in and show a few of the other new things in the game. But that's a very fun system, and I expect people are going to like it. A lot of people have given me ideas for different decks and things like that they want in the game. So now effectively you can kind of play however you want. If you want to start off with fewer discards, if you want to start off with a totally different deck, if you have a bauble that you like to always get, however you want to play, it kind of opens things up for you. So let's get into our game. Nice little stinger there for the transition to hide the lag. There's also a tutorial now. I don't think that was in when I made the video last time. Just gonna skip it for now. 4, 5, 6. Look at that. We started off with a straight. Just thinking about how I want to show a few new things off. Jack, queen, discard, 8, 2 straights. So there's some significant changes to the way the game works. Once we get into the shop here, the way zodiacs have worked is completely different now. So the flush zodiac, for example, now says all hands. If you play a flush or any hand that contains a flush, you'll get a bonus of 20 base value and 2 multiplier. And that works that way for all zodiacs. So any hands containing a full house, what hands contain a full house? Well, that's where this telescope bauble comes in. Lucky we saw that. So if you mouse over the hands on the left side here, these are all the hands that you can play at the moment. 5 of a kind is grayed out because it's an atypical hand, like one that's not in a standard poker, and it hasn't been played yet. So you'll only see baubles and zodiacs for the typical hands until you play an atypical hand, and then it'll start showing up in the shop and such. So if you, for example, mouse over 5 of a kind on the minimum tab, or on the minimum column on the right there, you'll see all the hands that are guaranteed to be in 5 of a kind. So obviously 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, pair, and high card. So the 114 minimum is the addition of all of the hands on the left column in green. So it's basically a way to transition into higher tier hands without losing your investment in lower tier hands. So if you start off and it is hard to consistently to make 3 of a kind with just a standard 52 card deck without a lot of discards or hands until fatigue. So if you want to invest in one pair and then you start getting a bunch of extra cards in your deck or extra discards, whatever makes it easier to make you make 3 of a kind, you can start investing in 3 of a kind without losing what you invested in pair. Once you get to the point where you're making 4 of a kinds consistently, you can invest in those, and they all scale better than the ones previous to them because, you know, it's harder to make those hands. And then you get up to 5 of a kind. But the interesting thing is, here, let's buy this telescope. That unlocks a series of new hands because it basically gives you an additional slot to play a card. So now you can play hands like Triple Double, which is 3 pair, Double Triple, 2 3 of a kinds, Stuffed Toast, 4 of a kind in a pair, and 6 of a kind. So 6 of a kind combines all of those. A Stuffed Toast combines a full house, 4 of a kind, Double Triple contains a full house. So if you buy this one and then you play any hand that contains a full house, you get that benefit. And you can buy up to 2 of those telescope baubles in any hand or any game. So you can effectively play up to 7 cards, which is pretty interesting. So now this flush counts all 6 of these diamonds. You can make 6 cards straights. You can still get it to the point where you can play even just 1 card straights and 1 card flushes. But it... And that's the way to basically make it so that straight flushes and flushes remain relevant throughout the game. So if you invest in straight flushes early, there's no hands that always include a straight flush. You can so the way to transition out of straight flushes or flushes and straights is to get it down so that you can maybe play 1 or 2 cards. If you're playing 5 of a kind and you only need 2 cards to make a flush, you're guaranteed to have a flush in your hand as well. If you get straight flushes all the way down to 1, then those ramp up really fast, and every hand contains a straight flush technically, so you're adding those points to every single hand you play. It's a very interesting system, and I think it works really well for what I'm trying to do here. So I'm proud of how that turned out. Yeah, so I was hoping we'd get to see the second telescope bauble. Not unlucky, but you get the idea. You can, when you play it, you can try to get a couple of telescope baubles, and these hands scale really well. Like if you get 6 of a kind, you're guaranteed to get at least 200 times 26, which is, 2,000, 4,000, it's over 5,000 points. So right now we're only needing 750. So even just getting a triple double is huge right now. Which it's not that hard to make 3 pairs. So that telescope bauble is quite good. It's quite popular, and it makes other stuff better too, like this blue mushroom. Add 25 to the value of all scored cards permanently. So if you do that and you get the telescope, now you can do it to 1 additional card, so it makes those non-standard cards a lot better. I've also changed a lot of baubles and added a lot of ones since the last time I made a video on this. So feel free to go check all that out. I think the game's in a pretty fun state right now, especially with the amount of freedom it gives you, the wacky daily variants, and just playing the base standard game. So many crazy things can happen now that it's just it's a real joy to play, especially with the music and the sound. Thank you to freesound.org. I made a lot of these sounds myself, but they're obviously an invaluable resource. This sound when you mouse over the cards is just me flicking my tongue off the top of my mouth. Did it a handful of times and it plays a random one. And the pitch also increases if you mouse over them multiple times in a row. Very, very satisfying. So yeah, that's pretty much where the project is right now. Still continuing to work on it. I want to add a lot more baubles. More non-standard cards, kind of just flesh out the game. But I think, like, in terms of big systems, the game is more or less complete, but I've said that before, so who knows, things might change. But yeah, that's where we are. Thanks, and have a good one.